heard me say in the past that being a Christian can be hard. And that's true, mainly because everyone has certain ideas or expectations or beliefs about what it means to be called a Christian, beyond a Christian being someone who has been baptized or believes in Christianity, or someone who follows Jesus Christ, or in their heart and their actions is a reflection of the love and compassion that Jesus demonstrated and taught. Society has ideas about what it means to be a Christian. Some people think that Christians should dress a certain way. Maybe they should wear modest clothing, or that women should conceal their hair. Some people think Christians should never say any swear words. Some people think that all Christians are kind and generous, or that they will always follow the rule of law. And churches have expectations. Some churches expect parishioners or congregants to tithe 10% of their income. They expect them to pay their tithes, which of course is very different from give their tithes. And some churches expect parishioners or congregants to attend every church service that is offered. Some churches expect their members to actively participate in mission trips. And individuals have beliefs about those who call themselves Christians. Some people believe that if one is a Christian, that the Christian will actively try to recruit them into Christianity. Some people believe that Christians don't believe in science. And some people believe that if one is a Christian, then it's possible to continue committing the same sin over and over, because all one has to do is ask for forgiveness and it's all good. As Christians, we have ideas, expectations, and beliefs too. We may have ideas about which Christian denominations are better than others, or which more closely follow the Bible, or are more aligned with our interpretations of God's Word. We may expect those who attend the same church to have the same beliefs that we do. And I'm not just talking about those that are the beliefs that we might discuss in church. We may believe that when something happens with someone in church or in the church community, let's say something that is a sin or that really disrupts the order of things, that it's okay to do any number of things because we have been wronged. We might even go so far as to say that God is not present in the church any longer, that Jesus is not present, that God is not hearing our prayers, and that there's no way that Jesus can save us, meaning that church community. So I mentioned that being a Christian can be difficult. But today's sermon may be a hard one and be also difficult for us to hear, to think about, and to reconcile. And that's because today's reading from Matthew is a guide for handling sin and a guide for doing so in a community, a Christian community. That means sin in the context of the ideas, expectations, and beliefs of society and churches and individuals, and among others who are also Christians. For those who aren't Christians, dealing with sin might seem like an insurmountable task. For Christians who have had less than outstanding experiences with Christian churches and other Christians, again, dealing with sin in a communal context might seem like a recipe for disaster, and indeed, it might be one that they have already encountered during their life. Perhaps some of you have had these experiences. I know that I have. Thankfully, I've had those experiences elsewhere, not at First Congregational. The guide in Matthew is pretty straightforward. If someone sins, have a one-on-one conversation with that person. If that conversation doesn't go well, have someone join you in talking with the sinner. And if that outreach fails, then bring the conversation to the community. Does this mean that every time someone sins that we need to go have these conversations? That might be helpful, but then again, it might not. It's not like calling attention to someone's human frailties is bound to go over well, whether one is in a one-on-one situation or in front of a group. And certainly, many a church has been torn apart when a certain member or members have committed sins that have led to different factions coming forward with my way or the highway edicts. And Jesus is clear in this passage that whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. It's the last sentence in the passage, though, that provides the strength for the community, especially the church community, a Christian community, that whenever 2 or 3 are gathered, Jesus is there. What that means is that no matter what the situation is, whether we are disagreeing, arguing, or even involved in a shouting match, Jesus is there. Often, we think he isn't, especially if the air has been sucked out of the room. And I'm sure everyone has had that happen on at least one occasion. We think that there's no way that individually or as a community we can recover or be forgiven for what we have said or what we have done. And yet, there is. And that's exactly what this passage is about. It's about accountability, but also having that accountability be a blessing. And I've got to say, what an unbelievable blessing it is that when 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, Jesus is there. What unbelievable grace and compassion.